What's up, guys? GoodeZilla back again, here with another parts for the GTR. I've been waiting a while to get all the rest of the parts in. There's still one little thing that's not in yet, but I wanted to make this video anyway. I consider these parts probably most crucial, I guess, to the build. First of all, the manifold that I used to have, well, it's still on the car right now, but just the wastegate wasn't, the port wasn't designed well enough to evacuate enough gases to keep the boost under control. So here we have a 6-boost manifold and a new precision turbo Twinscroll turbine housing that will just bolt straight to the 62, 66 that I already have. And we went Twinscroll for better boost response, and this is a split style manifold but a merged wastegate port. That's the thing that I'm waiting on. I'm gonna have a Turbo Smart 50mm wastegate. You just weld the flange onto here and then you'll have a 50mm wastegate. So I'll be selling my precision 46mm. It would probably work fine, the 46mm, but I just wanted to, you know, make sure that everything was ready to go and didn't have any problems. I mean, the Motive DVD R32 runs this exact manifold and a 50mm wastegate, and they ran no problem. So anyway, that's for the turbo side. So let's move on. Alright guys, so what we got next is another crucial part to the build, a head gasket. I went with the TOMEI 1.2mm thickness. It's a metal head gasket, 87mm. It'll work fine for the stock bore size. Let's see if I can pull it out here. So there you go. Nothing special. Just a well-known maker of quality parts, and it should work well. It also came with an oil head restrictor. I don't know if I showed that in my last video or not. Basically, it just goes inside the oil feed up into the head and makes the orifice smaller. Because sometimes the RBs have a problem with putting too much oil up into the head and not enough in the bottom of the motor, which where this comes into play. It's TOMEI oil pan Baffle kit. And it's sealed up, but basically you got a plate here, and then a little baffle thing that goes in the bottom of the oil pan to help from the sloshing around of the oil when you go around turns and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. This is special right here. We'll get to that in a minute. And then I also just have a Cometic bottom end kit. So you got, you know, your rear main and front main seals, and then oil pan, or not oil pan, oil pump gasket, and then oil filter housing gasket, and oil pickup gasket. So just, you know, when you're in there, you might as well replace all the gaskets and seals. So moving on. So up next we have a really crucial part of the build. In my last video you would have seen that I am putting a new N1 oil pump on my car when I do the build this winter. And I mentioned before doing like a set of billet gears to replace the gear set inside the oil pump, because the stock gears are, I think they're called sintered metal. Basically they're powdered metal pressed together, and they become weak when you do higher RPMs or do a two-step, like bounce off the rev limiter type stuff, and they can crack. So this is a spline drive gear from Supertec Racing. They're based in the UK. Basically, this is all billet machined, and it's super strong, and it uses a design that's like the Supras, I believe. They use a spline drive, so it's like super tight fit so that there's not a whole lot of play. Like, that's it. Some of like the gears that are for a stock style have a lot of play in them for some reason. So basically what they do is this has to be machined onto the crank. So on the end of the crank there's like a flat spot. It's round like this, and then there's like a flat spot, and that's what drives the oil gear. So like the oil gear would match this inner side and have a flat spot, so it would use that to turn the gears. Well, this is much stronger because it has all these keyways basically splined to drive the oil gear, and since it's billet steel, it's very strong, and it's been proven. I haven't heard of any cases of these failing, so it's definitely a great option. So basically you have to get this machined on, so you would take your crank to a machine shop and they would turn the end of the nose so that they would get that flat spot out of there, and then they would just heat fit this on there and you'd be good. Then you just replace the gears in the oil pump with this and you'd be good to go. So basically all together, if I can get this thing in here, there you go. Basically it looks like that. So as you turn the oil pump, you know, it goes like this. Although I'm not doing it very well because it's not lubricated, but anyway. If you want to check those out, if you're interested, it's a great option. I found that the price for this whole kit is not much more than just billet gears that would replace the stock ones and could still possibly fail. So check them out. I'll have a link to their Facebook page. They're still working on their website, but if you want to check out any of their other products, check the link in the description below and they'll hook you up. Moving on. So next up we've got some NISMO parts. This is just a motor mount and transmission mount kit. There's the part number if you're interested. And inside it's just 3 separate boxes that also, it's like boxes within a box. So, you know, you got whichever one this is. Let's see. So this is the transmission mount. And this would be your 2 motor mounts for each side. So I basically just wanted to replace the motor mounts just because, you know, they're 26 years old, and yeah, I had to grind down part of the stud on one of the motor mounts for that stupid CX Racing manifold, so we're starting fresh, people. And then of course, you know, you have to have your NISMO keychain, you know, that's like 14 horsepower right there. Moving on. Alright guys, so what we got next is triple flow cam cover baffle kit from Mines. Basically it replaces those stock plates in your valve covers with these, and this also prevents too much oil from getting pushed out into your oil catch can. So this would bolt to the underside of your valve cover, and then these foam sponge pieces would line up, one here and then one here, and that would prevent too much oil from getting out of your engine and going into your oil catch can. I've heard they're very effective, and figured, hey, if I'm upgrading oil pumps and gonna be revving higher, might as well do everything I can to keep all the oil inside the engine, you know? Moving on. Alright guys, so next we've got some new injectors. As you guys might know, I already have ID 1000 injectors, but because I am going E85, I wanted to make sure that I had plenty of fuel injecting power. So, I mean, I probably could have gone smaller, but these are ID 2000s. So, if you guys are looking for a really good price on these, check out RBMotoring.com. Trevor will definitely do everything he can to hook you up. Very competitive pricing. I really appreciate what he did. So these are the ID 2000s, and they're the purple tops, which mean 14 millimeter top hat, because the aftermarket fuel rail that I have will use the 14 millimeter. The blue top are the 11 millimeter that fit in the stock fuel rail. So that's something to pay attention to, depending on what fuel rail you have. It came with these little, you know, pigtail type things, but since I already have these injectors, I'll just be using the connectors I already have. So just your run-of-the-mill injector dynamics box opening. But if you're interested in a great price on these, I'll have the link in the description below, straight to his website, and where you can buy these, and definitely check him out for other things too. I believe he's going to start doing I don't know, maybe it's twice a month or maybe monthly. He mentioned that he was going to start doing parts from Japan, so if you guys are interested in getting parts from Japan, he'll be, you know, big parts too, like if you need body parts or whatever. Definitely check him out. Again, that's rbmotoring.com, and links in the description below. Check him out. Moving on. Alright guys, last but not least, since I'm taking the crank out of the motor, I figured I am not going to reuse the bearings, so I picked up some ACL race bearings. They're just the standard kit, so depending on, you know, what the measurements read out to be, these will probably work. But I picked these up, and if I need to get smaller or bigger, I'll go ahead and order those individually. But that's where these come into play. Here we have the micrometer, and basically what this does is allows you to measure down to the, I don't even know, I think it's 1/1000th or 10/1000th of an inch, and you use this tool to measure the outside diameter of your crank and your well, I guess it would just be your crank. So then you would get that measurement, and then you would use this tool, which is a dial bore gauge, and you would use this tool, I don't feel like unpacking it, but you'd use these different adapters here depending on what your size is, and you figure out when you put the two bearings together, either in the main caps or for the rods in the rod, and then you would use this to measure that, and you would take the difference between this measurement and this measurement to determine what your you know, the play is, how much difference there is. And then you would look at the Nissan recommendations and determine whether or not these bearings will work. You know, if you have too little gap, then you need to get smaller bearings. If you have too much of a gap, you need to get bigger bearings. So just so you get that interference, I guess. I don't know the correct term. Having a brain fart, but basically the space between the bearing and the actual crank or the rod, and if that's under the or in between the values of minimum, maximum of acceptable, then you should be good. And if not, then you need to go get specific bearings and make sure that they're good. These are just little feeler gauges. Got these for when we do the cams. Want to make sure, I mean, they're drop-in cams and there's the same base circle size as stock cams, so should be able to use the same setup as it was in there before. but I ordered these just to make sure I have the correct clearance. There you go, clearance is the word I was looking for. On the cams, and the lifter caps might have to put different shims in there. So anyway, like I said, that was last but not least. I am waiting on my wastegate to show up, but you guys know what a wastegate is. So I'll have links in the description below for stuff like this if you guys are interested. If you like to buy parts, I appreciate it if you use any of my links. It helps me out, and I appreciate the support. So as soon as I get my compressor housing back from OCD Works, I'll be making a little video of driving around with my straight exhaust and T51R mod turbo. Should be making all sorts of noise. I know some people don't think it's a good use of money because it doesn't do anything performance, it's just a sound, but I wanted it, so I did it. So anyway, as always, like, comment, subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to hit that little bell icon next to my name to stay notified whenever I post a new video, and check out my Instagram and Facebook as well. I have a Twitter also, so it's just twitter.com/GoodeZilla, just like the rest of them. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. See ya.